Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be truly untouchable? Not because life is easy, but because your mind is unshakable. Imagine someone tries to provoke you, yet nothing inside you moves. The world around you is loud, chaotic, demanding a reaction, but your breath stays steady. It's not because you don't feel anything. It's because you've learned the art of not letting the world control your inner weather. There is a quiet kind of power that most people never discover. A power that doesn't shout, doesn't argue, and doesn't beg to be understood. It simply remains, calm, grounded, and unaffected. Today, we're not just talking about staying calm. We're going deeper, into the Buddhist way of becoming mentally untouchable, a state where peace isn't something you wait for, but something you become. And once you embody it, no insult, no rejection, no misunderstanding can take it away from you. So stay with me, because if you understand the lessons in this video, your life may not suddenly become easier, but you will become stronger than anything life brings. Lesson 1. The quiet strength of not engaging in every battle. One of the greatest forms of strength is not found in force or loudness, but in the quiet decision to not engage. Not every noise deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves an answer. And not every battle is meant for you. The world will constantly invite you into arguments, drama, and emotional traps, some loud, some subtle. But wisdom is knowing which invitations to decline. There is a silent kind of courage in walking away, not out of weakness, but because your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Think of your energy like the battery on your phone. If you open too many unnecessary apps, drama, gossip, overthinking, other people's expectations, your energy drains in the background, even when you're not aware of it. And then, when something truly important arrives, your purpose, your passion, your healing, there's nothing left to give. Your mind works the same way. When you spend it on every argument, on every small discomfort, on every person who misunderstands you, you are slowly emptying yourself for things that don't grow you. Buddhism teaches right effort, not effort in every direction, but effort in the right direction. It means choosing wisely where your energy flows. You don't need to win every debate, attend every argument, or fix every misunderstanding. Sometimes the most powerful response is your silence. Sometimes walking away is an act of self-respect, not surrender. Before reacting to anything, ask yourself, does this deserve my peace? If the answer is no, let it go. Because true strength is not in how much you fight, it's in how little you allow to disturb your inner calm. The more you protect your energy, the more powerful you become. Your peace is not passive, it's a shield, a discipline, a sacred choice. Lesson 2. Your energy is a temple. Guard the doors carefully. Your mind is not a marketplace where anyone can shout their opinions, and your heart is not a public hallway for people to walk through with dirty feet. You are a sacred space, and sacred spaces are not open to everyone. But most of us forget this. We let every comment, every opinion, every notification enter our inner world without permission. We feel pressured to reply, to defend, to explain ourselves, as if our peace requires approval from others. But it doesn't. Buddhist philosophy reminds us, your energy is a temple. You choose who enters, how long they stay, and what they bring inside. You are not rude for protecting your peace. You are not selfish for choosing silence over drama. You are simply honoring the quiet truth that not everyone deserves access to your mind. You don't have to answer every message the moment it arrives. You don't have to react to every insult. You don't owe the world an explanation for every decision you make. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to step back, not angrily, not bitterly, but silently and with grace. This is called spiritual withdrawal. It's not running away. It's returning home to yourself. Detaching from meaningless noise is not coldness. It is compassion. Compassion for your own nervous system. Compassion for your own healing. You deserve to live in a mind that isn't constantly burning with stress and noise. So when someone tries to drag you into drama, When your phone demands your attention. When the world pulls you in 1,000 directions. Pause, breathe, and gently ask, does this need to enter my temple? If the answer is no, let the door stay closed. Because peace isn't just found in temples of stone. It's found in the temple of a guarded soul. Lesson 3. Stop seeking to be seen. Seek to be rooted within. One of the quietest forms of suffering in this modern world is the constant need to be seen, liked, and understood. We don't always admit it, but somewhere deep inside, we crave validation. We want people to notice our efforts, understand our pain, appreciate our kindness, and approve of our choices. And when they don't, something inside us breaks, as if their opinion has the power to define our worth. Today's world makes this craving even worse. Social media has become a marketplace where souls are traded for attention. We post not to express, but to be praised. We speak not to share truth, but to collect reactions. We start living like performers on a stage, waiting for claps that never feel like enough. And slowly, without realizing it, we drift away from ourselves. But Buddhism teaches something radical. True honor is not in being seen by others, but in being aligned with your own truth. The Buddha never asked for applause. He never tried to be impressive. He simply lived in alignment, his actions, his thoughts, his heart all moving together in honesty. That was his strength. So instead of asking, do they like me? Begin asking, did I live according to my values today? Instead of, did they understand me? Ask, did I stay true to myself, even if no one noticed? When your peace depends on other people's approval, you become fragile. But when your peace is rooted in how honestly you live today, you become unshakable. Remember, the tree doesn't grow tall by begging the sky to notice it. It grows by sinking its roots deeper into the earth. Do the same. Root yourself in integrity, in kindness, in authenticity. Whether the world sees it or not, the world doesn't need more people who are seen. It needs more people who are real. Less applause, more alignment, less performing, more becoming. Lesson 4. Respond like water, not react like fire. Most people go through life reacting, not responding. Someone says something hurtful, and instantly fire rises in the chest. Words are spoken. Damage is done. Regret comes later. But reaction is simply a reflex. It comes from ego, from fear, from old pain. Response, however, comes from wisdom. It is calm, grounded, and born after a moment of inner clarity. Between what happens to you and how you choose to act, there is a sacred pause, a small, invisible space. And inside that space lies your freedom. This is what the Buddha taught. Suffering begins when we lose the space between the trigger and the truth. But when you protect that space, you protect your peace. So the next time someone throws an insult, imagine it like an arrow flying toward you. If it hits your ego, it becomes a wound. But if your ego is soft, spacious, and unattached, that arrow turns into a flower. You see their pain, not just their words. You hear their suffering, not just their voice. This is not weakness. This is mastery. One simple practice can help you live this way. The 3-breath rule. Before you respond to anything, a message, an argument, a moment of frustration, take 3 slow breaths. First breath, feel your body, ground yourself. Second breath, notice your emotion, anger, sadness, fear, without becoming it. Third breath, ask yourself, will reacting from this feeling bring peace or more pain? Only then, respond. Not to win, not to prove, but to stay true to your peace. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing how you feel. It's about creating enough inner space to feel everything, without being controlled by anything. Water feels the stone thrown into it, but it doesn't hold the shape of the disturbance. It returns to calm. Be like water, deep, quiet, unshaken. Lesson 5. The freedom of releasing the need to be understood. One of the most exhausting battles of the human heart is the desire to be fully understood. We want people to see our intentions, our truth, the softness behind our mistakes. But here's a quiet truth. People don't see you as you are. They see you through the lens of their own wounds, beliefs, fears, and past experiences. And no matter how clearly you speak, your words will always travel through someone else's history before they reach their heart. This is why trying to fix every misunderstanding becomes a never-ending prison. You explain, and they still don't get it. You clarify, and they twist it. You open your heart, and they only hear what their pain allows them to hear. The more you try to be understood by everyone, the more you lose yourself. At some point, you must ask, is my peace really worth this constant need to prove, explain, and correct? Buddhist wisdom teaches gentle detachment, not from people, but from the need to control how they perceive you. You don't have to attend every argument or chase every misunderstanding. Let your actions speak the truth. Let your peace answer the noise. The right people will understand without long explanations. The wrong ones won't, even if you write 1,000 words. There is a powerful shift in thinking that sets you free. I know my heart, and that is enough. You know your intentions. You know the purity behind your actions. You know what you meant, what you felt, what you tried. That quiet knowing is your home. You don't have to drag anyone into it to make it real. When someone misunderstands you, pause before rushing to respond. Breathe. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be at peace? In most moments, peace will feel softer, warmer, and kinder than being right. Let them think what they want. Let them tell their version of the story. The truth has a way of revealing itself in time, without you forcing it. So live honestly, love sincerely, speak kindly, and when someone still doesn't understand, smile, bow gently in your heart, and keep walking your path. Because true peace begins when you no longer need the world to agree with your soul. Lesson 6. The art of emotional detachment, feeling without drowning. Most people misunderstand emotional detachment. They think it means not caring, staying numb, or shutting down their heart. But in Buddhism, detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the art of feeling fully, without being ruled by what you feel. It is not about avoiding emotions. It is about not becoming a prisoner of them. You are allowed to feel anger, sadness, love, disappointment, fear. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but suffering begins when you cling to them, resist them, or allow them to control your actions. Emotional detachment is not about removing emotions from your life. It is about relating to them differently. Think of emotions like weather in the sky. Clear skies, storms, thunder, sunshine. Each one comes, stays for a while, and eventually passes. You do not become the storm. You witness it. You experience it, but you know it isn't permanent. In the same way, emotions are passing experiences, not permanent identities. A practice in Buddhism helps anchor this awareness. When an emotion arises, gently acknowledge it. You can say to yourself, "This is anger. I see it. I honor it. But I am not it." Or, "This is sadness. I feel it. I hold it tenderly. But it does not define me." The moment you label your emotion, a space opens up between you and the feeling. That space is peace. Another metaphor. Imagine your emotions as leaves floating on a river. Some leaves are heavy, pain, jealousy, disappointment. Some are light, joy, excitement, love. If you try to grab them, you sink into the river. If you try to push them away, the water becomes disturbed. But if you stand on the riverbank and simply watch, the river carries everything away in its own time. You don't force it. You don't resist it. You just witness. Emotional detachment is this gentle witnessing. You aren't pushing feelings away, and you aren't drowning in them either. You allow them to exist, but you don't let them control your peace, your actions, or your identity. This practice is not easy at first. especially when your heart is heavy. But remember, you are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them. You are the sky, not the storm. You are the riverbank, not the leaf. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, take a slow breath, place your hand over your heart if you need to. Whisper to yourself, "This will pass. I don't need to fight it. I don't need to become it. I can simply let it flow." This is not apathy. This is mastery. This is how you remain soft without being shattered, open-hearted without losing yourself, loving without clinging. This is true emotional freedom. Lesson 7. Your peace is your responsibility. Stop outsourcing it. Most of us grow up believing that peace will arrive when life becomes easier, when people treat us better, when circumstances finally calm down, when everything finally makes sense. But life was never designed to stay perfectly gentle. There will always be noise, misunderstandings, delays, and expectations that don't match reality. You cannot control the weather of the world, but you can learn to control the climate of your mind. And that is where true peace begins. Peace is not something handed to you. It is not a gift someone else delivers. It is not found in perfect relationships, perfectly planned days, or perfectly behaved people. Peace is not given. It is built. It is guarded. It is chosen again and again, especially on the days when everything tries to steal it. Some people say they lost their peace because of someone else, because of what was said, done, or taken away. But the truth is simple. No one can steal your peace unless you hand it to them. Peace is an inside job. This is where responsibility comes in, not the heavy, stressful kind, but the liberating kind. Taking responsibility for your peace means no longer waiting for the world to behave. It means no longer blaming your emotions on others. It means recognizing that while you cannot control how others act, you can always control how you respond. Even when someone disrespects you, even when plans fall apart, even when your heart feels tired, you still have the power to choose your state of mind. Boundaries are one of the greatest protectors of peace. Saying no without guilt, walking away without anger, refusing to participate in conversations that disturb your inner balance. You do not need to explain every decision you make if it is made to protect your mental well-being. The Buddha taught that suffering begins when we cling to outcomes, to people, to expectations. Boundaries are not walls. They are gentle reminders of where your peace ends and someone else's chaos begins. A powerful way to begin each day is with a simple inner promise, a morning mantra. Say to yourself, "Today, I will not hand my mind to anyone else." This means no one gets to decide how your day feels inside. Not an argument, not a rude comment, not a delay, not a rejection, not a stranger's opinion. Your mind is your home. You get to decide who enters and how long they stay. You are the gatekeeper. Training your mind to stay peaceful doesn't mean you'll never feel anger or sadness again. It means you won't let those emotions make a home inside you. You allow them to visit, but not to stay. You witness them without letting them define you. Over time, your peace becomes less like a candle that blows out in the wind and more like a quiet mountain, unmoved, grounded, still. So when the world becomes loud, pause. When someone tries to provoke you, breathe. When you feel your peace slipping, gently remind yourself, "This is my responsibility. I can choose differently, and even if you fail, even if your peace slips away, choose it again." This is not perfection. This is practice, because the strongest peace is not found in a calm world. It is found in a calm mind, and that no one can take from you unless you allow them. Lesson 8. Seeing the bigger picture, the antidote to overthinking. Pain often feels unbearable not because it is too large, but because our perspective becomes too small. When we are hurt, misunderstood, or disappointed, our minds shrink the entire world into that single moment of discomfort. It feels permanent. It feels personal. It feels like everything. But the truth is, It is only one page in the book of your life, not the whole story. Overthinking keeps us trapped on that page, rereading it until we forget that other chapters even exist. The simplest way to escape the prison of overthinking is to gently zoom out. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days? 5 months? 5 years? Most of the time, the answer softens your heart. What hurts today may not even be remembered tomorrow. What frustrates you now might become the very thing that teaches you patience later. This practice is not about dismissing your feelings. It is about giving them room to breathe. Buddhism teaches the wisdom of impermanence, anicca. Nothing stays. No joy, no sadness, no fear, not even this pain. When you truly understand that every feeling has an ending, suffering loses its power to control you. You stop asking, how do I make this go away right now? And instead whisper, this too shall pass. Impermanence is not something to fear. It is something to be grateful for, because it means that no storm lasts forever. Imagine you are standing close to a painting. Your vision is filled with only one color, one brush stroke. But when you take a step back, the chaos becomes art, the flaw becomes texture, the mess becomes part of a bigger design. Life works in the same way. Stepping back doesn't erase the pain. It simply reminds you that it is not the whole picture. When you rise above small triggers, you stop falling into small traps. Not every comment needs a reply. Not every inconvenience needs a breakdown. You begin to save your emotional energy for what actually matters. You start focusing on growth rather than reaction. You start choosing peace over pettiness. So the next time your mind spirals, pause. Breathe in slowly. Whisper to yourself, this is only a moment, not my whole life. Feel the weight lighten, even if only slightly. Look at the sky. Feel the passing of time. Notice how even your thoughts change from second to second. That is your reminder. Everything moves, everything shifts. Everything eventually becomes something new. Peace doesn't only come from solving problems. Sometimes it comes from seeing them through wider eyes. Lesson 9. Silent power, becoming untouchable without becoming hard. The world often misunderstands strength. We're taught that power is loud, aggressive, sharp, and dominant. We're told to stand our ground, never back down, and fight fire with fire. But Buddhism reveals a quieter, deeper kind of strength. One that doesn't roar, doesn't rush, doesn't need to conquer. It simply remains still. True power is not in shouting the loudest. It's in staying calm when everyone else has lost control. It's in being gentle in a world that keeps demanding hardness. The strongest people are not the ones who never break, but the ones who learn how to bend without losing who they are. You don't control the wind, but you can learn to master your sail. You cannot stop the world from being noisy, cruel, unfair, or chaotic, but you can control how much of that storm you allow to live inside you. This is what silent power means: the ability to remain soft without being shattered, peaceful without being passive, present without being affected by every passing wave. But here's what most people get wrong. Calmness is not weakness. It is not silence born from fear or avoidance. It is silence born from understanding. The ocean doesn't respond to every stone thrown into it. A mountain doesn't shout back at the storm. They remain, not because they are numb, but because they know their depth. Calmness is mastery over your inner weather. It is strength that does not need to be seen to be real. This kind of inner strength is not natural. It is cultivated, and it begins with this decision. I will not allow the world to change my nature. The world will try to make you hard. Pain will tell you to close your heart. Betrayal will tell you to stop trusting. Disappointment will whisper that softness is foolish. But softness is not weakness. It is wisdom combined with compassion. To remain gentle in a world that sometimes celebrates cruelty is not easy. But that is real courage. Not armoring yourself to survive, but healing yourself so deeply that you no longer need armor. When your peace is rooted inside you, You stop needing to win every fight. You stop arguing just to prove a point. You stop reacting to every insult because you finally understand not everything deserves access to your soul. This does not mean you allow disrespect. Silent power does not tolerate mistreatment. It simply chooses not to waste energy on proving what is already known. You walk away not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to let your peace be more important than someone else's chaos. So, how do you become untouchable without becoming hard? By mastering 3 quiet disciplines. 1. Control of attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Stop feeding what drains you. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every voice deserves a reply. 2. Emotional alchemy. When anger rises, don't suppress it. Observe it, feel it, but do not become it. Transform it through awareness, like heat turning raw metal into something shaped and purposeful. 3. Returning to softness. Every night, ask yourself, did I act from love or from fear today? Did I stay gentle, or did I harden to protect myself? If you drifted from yourself, return. That return is where healing happens. Buddhism doesn't teach us to be passive. It teaches us to be unshakable, to stand in peace the way a tree stands in a storm, bending but never breaking at the root. Because ultimate strength is not about being untouchable by emotion. It's about being so deeply connected to yourself that no external force can control your inner world. You become like water, soft enough to flow, strong enough to cut through stone. So stay soft, stay kind, stay calm. Not because life is easy, but because you are no longer willing to let life harden your heart. That is silent power. Lesson 10. Closing reflection. The path of the unshakable mind. If you have reached this point in the journey, pause for a moment and breathe. Not just to fill your lungs with air, but to fill your awareness with presence. You have walked through teachings of stillness, strength, and self-mastery. And now we gather them gently in our hands like sacred stones and place them at the doorway of your heart. Remember the first lesson. You do not need to fight every battle. Your energy is sacred, and not everything deserves a reaction. Then you learned that your inner world is a temple, not a public road. You are allowed to guard your peace and let silence become your answer when noise demands your attention. You learned that validation is a quiet prison, and freedom begins when you stop begging to be seen and start living in alignment with your own heart. You discovered the difference between reaction and response. One comes from emotion, the other from wisdom. You practiced the sacred pause, the breath between impact and reply. You embraced the courage to release the need to be understood, realizing that people don't see you as you are, but as they are. You learned the art of emotional detachment, not to suppress feelings, but to feel them without drowning in them. To say, this is anger, this is grief, but this is not who I am. You accepted that your peace is your responsibility, not the world's, not someone else's apology, not perfect conditions, but yours. You placed boundaries not to push people away, but to protect the calm you have worked so hard to build. Then, you lifted your eyes and learned to see the bigger picture. You realized that most pain grows not because it is too heavy, but because we hold it too close. And finally, you understood silent power, the strength of being soft without breaking, calm without becoming cold, gentle without being weak. This is the path of the unshakable mind. It is not about escaping life, but about meeting it differently, fully present, open-hearted, and deeply rooted. So as you leave this moment and return to your life, carry this blessing with you. May you become the quiet room in a world full of noise. May no storm outside ever silence the calm within you. May your energy be guarded like a sacred flame. May you choose response over reaction, understanding over argument, and peace over proving your point. May you remain soft, even when the world tries to make you hard. And when life becomes heavy, may you return again and again to your breath, your center, your unshakable mind. Your journey does not end here. It begins here, with awareness, with choice, with stillness that no chaos can steal.